I say we make it as gay as possible. Let's just get married.
Hello, hello. Welcome back to Nothing Upstairs. My name's Brian. My co-host over there is Etzel. This is the podcast about pretty much two guys just yapping away about nothing really important. Um,
Completely unqualified.
pretty
Giving our
much,
completely unqualified opinions.
pretty much. Yeah. And if you like this type of stuff, well, then you're a weirdo.
If you like unqualified opinions, get help.
Mm-hmm.
But also, watch us.
Yeah.
We're here for you.
Yes. And this is all professional advice.
Yes. Period. All
Yeah.
right. Well, I want to ask, how has your week been? What you been up to?
I don't know what's going. Well, I have some idea what's going on, but like this week, I've been like real anxious. I don't know
Really?
why. Yeah, just like literally, you heard a little
Living
bit,
life on the edge.
not that kind of way, but yeah, you heard about it a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
I was literally like squeegeeing a window, and like
Yeah.
the squeegee was leaving some streaks, and I was trying to fix
Mm-hmm.
it, and I kind of like angled it differently and like pressed down a little bit harder, whatever, and like
Mm-hmm.
it fixed some parts of it, but some parts not really. And just fucking out of nowhere, I just like had a mental breakdown over it. I was just like, "This fucking, ugh, the squeegee is not working." But the thing is, I literally, as I am having that moment, I was just like, I know this is not about the squeegee, because like I know myself. There's just some repressed shit that is bubbling up
Yeah.
because that this is the squeegee is the tipping point. It has nothing to do with the squeegee, and I was just like so pissed, and that literally quote unquote ruined my whole day. I don't know why I said quote unquote. That literally ruined my whole day.
That literally.
Um, and I was just like trying to think. I'm like, I have an idea why I feel
Yeah.
that way. It's just some family obligations that I may or may
Yeah.
not
We love family obligations.
have to obligate.
Obligate. I think they're being obligated onto you. I
uh,
don't think you're obligating anything.
well, regardless, I'm still the one that has to do it. But uh,
Yeah.
but other than that, um, I feel like I was gonna say something and I totally forgot.
Your
I'll think
crash
of it.
out over your crash out over the squeegee reminds me of, have you seen memes recently about, this motherfucker does not have TikTok. Have you seen memes about the dad crash outs? It's been going around being like, everybody remember when their dad just like crashed out over just random shit? And there's one where there's a dad just fixing a like it's like a, I think, what the fuck is it called? A ceiling fan. I almost said chandelier. He's like trying to fix a ceiling fan, and he's like, "God damn it, fuck this hellhole. I hate this house. Nobody fucking helps me here," because it like breaks as he's fixing it, and I'm like, I just imagine that with your squeegee, just be like, "I fucking hate this shit."
And the thing is, like, that is literally if you're wanting to
What
compare
happened?
like fixing a ceiling fan to a squeegee, that is not the same level. Like a squeegee is literally
No,
just like I don't know the same level as maybe like sweeping. It's just like
I was gonna say, what about the squeegee didn't work? Like,
it was
it's
leaving
a
streaks,
squeegee.
and also just like I because I like to do this way where like you know how some like professionals squeegeers window cleaners, yeah, there we go. They do the thing where they go like kind of like this and then like that and like
Mhm.
that, so that way you don't leave streaks and everything is contained. Because like if you just do it like this,
Yeah,
you'll have like kind of like straight lines down the middle, and if you do it
yeah,
like if you try to get rid of that line, but then you have two lines again down the other side. So I was doing that, and I usually do no problem. But like not only was the squeegee kind of leaving streaks a little bit because I think it's just got some debris or it's old, I don't know. As I was doing that, and I was like looking back up, I'll see that I missed spots here and there. I'm just like, God fucking damn it! But then it's like when you miss spots like that, you can't really just. I mean, you can go back and do it, but it's like, first of all, the spots are so small that the squeegee's dry. So if you try to go over it again, it will kind of like it will kind of stick to the window. So you might as well just re-wet the whole thing again. But it's like I don't want to do that, and so that was the whole downfall right there.
I made the shock face because I just remembered my brother. having that same exact fucking crash out because he's a professional squeegeer. He's a professional window cleaner. And he was trying to learn that method and he was practicing at home in one of our windows. And I remember like going downstairs, walking down like the last few steps, turning the corner into the living room and just hearing a like blood curdling scream being like, fuck this shit, this doesn't make sense mathematically. And I'm like, mathematically. And I remember turning around slowly and just going back up. It's like, we're not dealing with this today. We're not dealing with this today. He couldn't get that. That if it makes you feel better, I think it's like something that's weirdly hard to do.
Really? Well, to
It's
me, it's not that hard to do because like that's how I do all of the windows.
Well, according to my brother, there's like a whole YouTube section dedicated to just learning the skill of how to do that. Like it's so I think it might be just like naturally weirdly hard. It's like one of those things where it's like it looks easy, but it's weirdly difficult. I say that I didn't learn how to blow up a balloon until like I was like 12 or 13
You
and I was
blow.
jealous at other people. Right, but I for some reason just couldn't. Like I was just like
Did you not
really
know how to
enjoying
exhale?
it.
Your
Shut
whole life up
Shut,
until 12, you're just like,
shut up. I was just accumulating all the Um, er, I was accumulating the
the
apparently.
herb.
The I really thought you were gonna give up.
Just like,
You
fuck
took
this,
your
I'm
headset
done.
off. It's like, well, all right, guys, it's just me for the rest of the episode.
But yeah, one thing that also makes it hard for me is because I try to challenge myself. Well, partly because I try to challenge myself. Secondly, I'm just too short. I'm like 5'6". I'm not that tall of a guy. So, like, imagine you're looking at this sideways. Like, this is the person, this is me. You're looking at the window, like, this is the face of the window, this is sideways. So, we have the window, and then, like, a small little ledge right here, and then the ground. So, if I stand on the ground, I can't reach the top part. So, I always try to stand on the small little ledge, practicing my slab skills from rock climbing. So I'm simultaneously trying to balance and practice that while sidestepping on the tiny ledge. And the ledge is not like a straight just concrete ledge. It's textured, so it's like round and weirdly shaped here and there. So I try to do that and squeegee at the same time. And that day was just not the day.
Yeah.
I just wasn't. Yeah, I just wasn't
Well,
feeling it.
outside of the squeegee crisis of 2025, did you have anything else going on this week?
I got drunk for the first time in a while. That was fun.
That was interesting. I like that. That we should do that more often. You should become an alcoholic full time, is my personal and professional
I
opinion.
think it's
But
like
I,
I'm just so much happier when I'm drunk too. Also depends on what
yeah.
kind of drunk though. Like wine, I get so sad when I get a wine drunk. I either get
Why would
sad,
you get
I don't know. I either get sad or I get sappy, which are both kind of sad in a way.
that? I don't know if that's scientifically based, but sounds good. Well, we
I don't
did
know,
warn
man.
that this podcast is not. It's unqualified opinions. Here we are. Um,
I don't know. But
you're like, I don't give a fuck. I
yeah,
don't know, nor do I
that
care.
that was my week. I'm on book 6 now of Dungeon Crawler Carl. It's a great book.
Oh yeah.
I still think you should read it.
Okay.
Everyone should read it. But other than that,
This bitch.
that's about.
Hold on. What if I just? It worked. It fucking worked. You saw that. You fucking saw that. You can't see shit.
God,
All
it's
right.
so
Well,
dark in my. I look like I'm in a fucking torture
you
video.
always look like
No, I don't.
it's about to pan into the corner, and you're like, and this is my victim right now.
Most of
Like,
the time, we do this like in the middle of the day, kind of. So it's a lot of times brighter. But today, right now, it's pretty late. So that's my window side, which is dark, and my room light is not that bright.
I
I
don't know
can
if anybody
move.
can tell,
I can move this
but
light like
this
that.
blue thing is like not even a curtain. I think it's a sheet cover. over the window. It's like a bed cover.
I can
I
move
don't
my
know
light
what's
like
going
this,
on.
but if I do it like this, I have to keep holding it. And I don't want to do that, so I'm putting it
Yeah,
back
fuck
down.
that shit.
Oh,
You're gonna it is it pointing from the bottom up like a ghost story? Like you're like,
I
you know
can't
what I
make it
mean?
like that.
We should do that. Oh god.
Mm,
Oh my god.
mm.
I don't like that. Please stop.
So
I'm logging off actually. You know what? Y'all, this is not today's not the day. We're not doing this anymore.
I have no neck. I look like a thumb.
With just like long hair. Oh my god. Well, I try to remember what the fuck my week was about. I don't I remember today. Today I woke up. I felt immediately overstimulated. I was like, you know what? This is not it. I'm gonna go back to bed.
Today I
Realize I
woke
had
up and I got overstimulated. Fucking
and
moon,
it's the
man.
truth.
That is
um Realized I was late to take my cousin to the orthodontist. Took her to the orthodontist, came back, did some work and shit, decided to go on a run. And I don't, this is an omen, y'all. I don't know what this means, but I'm sure it means something. I was running. Is today Veterans Day? I don't know. Anyways, I was running and there was a somebody had put like an American flag somewhere, and I almost died because as I was running this American flag, just like the wind was whipping. Let me tell you, American flag just like whipped across and like slapped me in the face as I was running, and I'm like, what the fuck is going on? So I don't know. I feel hate crime personally. I think that was a hate crime. I don't know what it means, but I think it means something. And then I
I think Uncle Sam doesn't like
was,
you.
yeah, I mean, I'm Puerto Rican, so that figures. But the
Fucking devil over here.
the what's it called? Also wanted to cook something, but I was like, again, overstimulated. No, we're not doing that. So instead, I went to Subway and grabbed my classic Southwest chicken sub. That shit is so good. I don't know what it is about that, but get it with sriracha and chipotle, mix it together, and that shit literally will take you to heaven. I immediately not stimulated. Immediately, just like sensory deprivation. Immediately not overstimulated. That's what that is. Yes.
Have you? You probably haven't. I feel like I would know if you have. Have you done those sensory deprivation tanks?
No, I really want to.
Me too. But the thing is, I don't think it will be good for me because I have tinnitus. So my whole
What?
world would just be
What is
buzzing.
that?
Tinnitus? It,
Tinnitus? Is
it,
that how you pronounce it?
that's how it's supposed to be
Is
pronounced, but a lot of people say tinnitus.
oh okay. I was like tinnitus,
Yeah.
tennis. What?
No, that's
Okay,
I think that's like the right way or something. I don't
the
know, but
like proper pronunciation.
which I don't like because it sounds weird. But I think that's because like when I went to the oh god, that's a funny story. One thing that about me that people that know me will know is I I'm those guy that I'm those people that you can look at me in the eye, say something, and I go, huh? And then you repeat it, and then I go, I'm so sorry, I still didn't get that. And then they'll start yelling at me, and I'm just like, oh god, please stop yelling.
Just stop.
My point
Don't
is,
yell at me.
for the longest time, I thought I had hearing problems, which won't be surprising for me because I, I used to listen to loud music and whatever. So so I went to the doctors. I went to an ear doctor to get it checked out, and they did all these tests. And the next day, I go back to work. I was like, "All right, guys, good news, bad news. Good news, my hearing is fine. Bad news, my hearing is fine, because that means the problem is upstairs." Yeah, my doctor literally told me, she's like, "Yeah, your hearing is fine. You heard everything fine. Yeah, it sounds like you might have some minor tinnitus problems, but I think it is probably more of a auto processing issue." And I was like, "Oh, sounds good. Yes,
You see,
beautiful."
that's why you're my twin, because I also have auditory. It's like the problem isn't the fact that I can't hear. The problem is like it's not red. Like I feel like there's a typewriter in my brain, and like I feel like there's a typewriter in everybody's brains. And normally, for
That's not
normal
good for your
people,
brain.
as you hear, as you hear shit, you are like typing out the words you're hearing. But for auditory processing people or people who have problems with auditory processing, I feel like our typewriter is just typing gibberish. It's just like not even the English language as we're listening. That's literally how it feels like, and I can't describe it.
I do understand what you're saying because the thing that is exactly how it is. Because it's not that I didn't hear you. I did hear you. It's
Yeah,
just what you said to me.
was not English.
It was not English. It was literally just and then I go what, and then
uh,
you say louder. But the thing is, like when you said it louder, it was just louder.
so,
But and I'm just like, please stop yelling at me. I don't get it. My coworkers hate me for it, and I'm like, I'm sorry, I can't help it. It's been proven by a doctor. My hearing's fine. It's upstairs. My brain's not, so don't judge me for it.
oh my god. So anything else of I guess anything else of my week? I don't remember. I do remember that I ate Korean barbecue 3 times in a row, and let me tell you, I feel like my stomach, the bacteria in my stomach is now like chemically different. I don't know what's going on.
You've
I'm
turned
like,
into a carnivore.
yeah, I'm like, what is going on? That's too much Korean barbecue. So yeah, and then immediately a Subway sandwich.
That
That has
shit's
been
good
my
though.
nutrition. Yeah, it is.
We do like
I
Korean
did.
barbecue.
I did like the soup we tried that the last time. What
That
is
was a
that
good
soup again?
soup. I forgot, but it was good. What's your
Mm.
favorite thing in Korean barbecue?
Mm, I'd say the brisket slowly because it once used to be the bulgogi, but now it's like too strong. Now I like the brisket more than anything, and it cooks fast, and it's relatively.
Don't
This
mind me.
motherfucker.
See, if you didn't
It cooks
acknowledge it, I was
fast.
just gonna mute myself in the post production, obviously. But
No, now we have to keep it.
yeah, now I have to
But
keep it in there.
it was the bulgogi. Now the bulgogi overstimulates me, and so I'd rather do the brisket. The brisket is good. I don't know. It like the taste is so strong. I'm like, why?
Yeah. It,
You need to not do that.
yep. Uh, anyway, no, for me, I don't
Why
know.
did you ask that question? Okay.
I was just curious because I was gonna say for me, it's always been a texture thing. Like I like. That sounds so wrong, but I like my meat like I like my noodles al dente.
He said,
uh,
"I like it hard. I don't like it soft."
I- mm, mm. But no, because like my favorite thing, and you know this, is pork cheek, and pork cheek has got that chew to it, and it's the same thing as like if I order like a taco or a burrito. A lot of times I'll go with lengua, which is beef tongue, and beef tongue also has that crunch and chew to it. And the same thing as like yakitori. One of my favorite is gizzards. Again, it's got that chew to it. So I think I just like them hard.
You like that hard meat.
Mm, yep.
Anyways, that's gonna be the end of the episode, guys. Thank you
Well,
for coming. What is it? Do you have any plans for the rest of the week?
actually, I do. This upcoming weekend, I am going to the Renaissance Fair.
I've never gone.
You never been? You
I've
should.
never gone.
You should join. We can talk more about it.
Well, yeah. I have a concert that I'm going to on Friday,
Oh
which
shit!
is
Ooh.
fun. It is the Oh Hellos. I almost said
Oh,
nothing upstairs, and I'm like, I'm not going to my own concert. That's
we
not
are not
happening.
singing. Thank you. Ooh, did you guys know that
Are
this
we
guy?
singing?
I'm not. This guy supposedly, I've never heard him sing because he never wanted to, but according to
Yeah,
himself, he has
according to
perfect
source. Trust me,
pitch
bro.
and he's taken lessons, especially for I think it's funk, or is it funk or is it jazz or something like that?
No.
The blues. What is it?
I never claimed to have perfect pitch. First of all,
I'm pretty
that's
sure you
not
said
true.
that.
No,
Hmm.
but I do know how to sing. That what I did mention was that I do know how to sing blues,
Okay, yeah.
blues
So
music. I do sing well. That's like the only thing musically that I can do well is singing. But anyways,
oh,
going back to
actually,
the
I have heard you sing once.
when
You were singing uh fuck,
I was singing fuck,
that one song from
fuck, fuck,
that one song from Justin
fuck
Bieber,
you.
what he got famous off of, the
Oh
baby
yeah,
baby.
y'all heard me sing karaoke, and I
Yeah.
was like trying not to. You can't listen, everybody. If you sing in karaoke, I don't give a fuck if you sing well. You can't sing well in karaoke. Like you have to sing bad, because then, otherwise, where's the fun? You have to kind of sing bad. The problem with me though is that this sounds so conceited, and I don't give a fuck. The problem with me is that I'm used to singing so well, like often, that shut the fuck up, that I can't fit. I don't know what it is about me. Like when I try singing badly, it just doesn't come out badly. Like it
Wow.
still comes out.
They,
Well, shut the
I
fuck up.
am
Listen,
just so good at
if
it.
anybody, if
Even when I
anybody,
try to
please,
fuck up, like I just can't.
I can't
I
really.
can't fuck up. I'm just too good. I'm sorry.
Sometimes I just try to be a bad person and I can't because I'm just that good.
Wow. Okay.
Oh Lord! But please, anybody I who sings well in the comments, we don't have no comments on this video. Please, it's just cricket chirps.
I mean, I was gonna say like,
Um,
what's our view count? One.
one,
It's
we have
just
the one
it's
comment.
just you. It's you
It's my
watching.
mom being like, "You're doing great, sweetie." I'm like, "Thanks, mom." But please, if anybody is in the comments and is a good singer, tell me if I'm fucking wrong. I don't feel like it's crazy to be like, I can't physically make myself sing badly. The only thing I can do is like take away the vibrato, and that's it. But I still sing on in tune. I don't know what it is. I just can't do something. I don't know. I can't do anything really. That's the. Anyways, I'm going to a concert next weekend or this weekend, and Jesus Christ, and it's the Oh Hellos, and I want to talk to you about why you didn't want to go because you said something along the lines of. So I wanted to go because it's one of my favorite bands, favorite bands of all time. I think they're like a Christian adjacent. They're Christian themselves, but they're not really singing worship songs. They're singing personal, very like folky personal songs and
No,
stuff like that
they do
that
have
have some like
some.
Christian
They,
elements
they do
in
have
there.
some, yeah. But I mean, like, I just first of all, I'm just nothing against them. They're just not really my style of music. There are a couple songs that and for those that don't know me, I'm not super religious. I guess I used to be kind of. My whole family's never been the religious type. My family follows Taoism, but we don't go to church or anything. So I never been super religious either. So when songs even just have like the word Jesus in it, or they kind of try to metaphorically talk about the Bible or spirituality type stuff, it just turns me off a little bit. And as I said, I have nothing against religion. I just don't really care
Mhm.
about that. Not like, again, not in a bad way. I don't think. Just I just
That's that's interesting because I was definitely hearing you earlier saying that you hate Muslim people, but I
oh, that see, that is a different story.
Further elaboration questions. Would you consider yourself like agnostic, atheist, like then, or religious adjacent? Like what would you
I
consider
I thought
yourself?
for the longest time that I am just atheist. It's just I'm
Yeah.
an atheist, but I think over time, especially as I start getting older, sounds weird, but I think I align more probably with like an agnostic, just because I do believe that there are things beyond the I don't know, quote unquote physical realm. Whether it is a higher being or just a, for the lack of better terms, a common ghost or something, I don't know. And can they potentially do good or harm to us? Maybe. Is my life protected in or dictated by some higher being that is watching over me? I highly doubt it. To me, it's just like I am not important enough for anyone to want to do that. In my opinion, I'm just one guy. Like even if there is a god, he is looking over 8 billion, 9 billion people. I I'm just an ant. He's not gonna care if this ant lost a leg. He's just gonna be like, oh, well, he frankly he won't even notice. That's actually like a super parallel thing that I saw the other day. It was a meme. Well, not the other day, a while ago, but it was a meme. Pretty much what I described. It's a human in an ant's perspective. I'm butchering this, but you can look it up yourself. It's pretty much just like the guy's just like, well, ants probably look at us the same way as we look at quote unquote God. We sometimes just drop crumbs here and there, and they all go over there, and it's like, holy shit, like we've been blessed with food. And if one ant all of a sudden decided to start chanting your name and was like, please, give me wealth, I'm gonna go over there and look at them. I'm gonna be like, what the fuck? A group of ants is chanting my name and asking me for wealth. Just for shits and giggles, I'm gonna give it to them just to see what happens. And then
What is ant wealth? I'm just
I
curious.
I don't know. But like as I
Do
said,
they have like a currency?
yeah, but as I said, I think it's just like a meme thing. You can definitely find it online. It's a lot. They explain it a lot better on there, and it's a lot funnier too. But to me, that's how I see it. Like, if even there is a higher being, they don't give two shits about me. And as I said, like, I am not religious, which is why I think that. I'm sure some people disagrees, and that's fine. I that's just what I think. I just don't think I'm important enough for something of such high power would care to want to intervene in my life just because I want something better.
Interesting. What are the core tenets of Taoism? Like, what do they believe mostly? Do you know at all? You're like beats me.
Beats me, bro. I do know that we have multiple gods. We have like god of like, I think it's like an equivalent of like god of war, and god of like travel or stuff like that. But the thing is that they were all based off of quote unquote historical real people. As in the God of War was a general back in the day that is just a extremely powerful and good at his job general. So he got kind of coined the term like the God of War. And then as time goes on, he became this god-ish figure. And the same thing with like Buddha and the god of, I think, traveling or whatever. They're all just like stories of way back in the day. There's this person that is just this good. I mean, they could have been of a different entity even back in the day. I don't know, but it's more deities, I guess, like that. It's just a bunch of like just more specific gods that protects you in specific ways. And yeah, I'm not gonna lie, I don't know too much about it besides that's what my family follows. And
Now,
yeah,
you do have a history of joining cults. Tell us, enlighten us. What cults have you joined or slash started? What cults do you have now?
I've accidentally gotten involved in different things. I genuinely was accidental. It, well, kind of. It's just because okay, the thing is like they're all from either families or friends. They'll talk to you and they'll like, yeah, come on to this like party we're having, whatever. And I'm just like, fuck, I like parties, I like food, I like hanging out. Hell yeah, let's do it. And they'll be like, okay, cool. So let's go over here and do this thing. And I'll go over there and I'll do the thing. And then the next thing I know, we're like praying and chanting. And I'm like, huh, weird. Oh well.
This is, I mean, it's great punch.
I, yeah. And the thing is like, did I have fun? I kind of did. I'm not gonna lie. And
Just imagine somebody's getting like branded in the corner while everybody's chanting, and you're over there just eating crackers in the corner. Like, these are good crackers, though. I'll
I
give them that.
I mean, one of it, yeah, one of Yeah, yeah. Some
Then did you participate in a branding? Please tell us.
I did not. I did not. I don't
Oh, okay.
really like to. I'm a little bitch. I don't handle pain well, so
Yeah.
no, thank you.
That's the
Um,
only thing that's wrong with that. It's just you're like personally, if you want to get if branding's okay, I just personally I it's not my thing.
I'm gonna speak against that and say, please don't brand yourself. That is not good for you. Uh, it can be done wrong very easily, and your skin boils off, whether it be cold branding or fire branding. It's just not a good thing either way. If you want to have a mark on you, just get a tattoo.
That's a hot take apparently.
Yeah, but yeah, one of the things that I did was I literally went with this giant group, drove down to it was like a convention hall, I don't know, and we stood, laid there for like a good 5 hours, and people were just kind of. It's kind of like I feel like they were just reading off of the equivalent of their Bible and constantly going like, "Oh yeah, this really important figure, will show up soon," as in like a real person, like I don't know, like the equivalent of a pope or something. They'll
Like Dua Lipa.
they're on their way here, and they'll be showing up very soon, and we've been so blessed that they can come today and blah 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 blah. The entire time they just keep saying that and stuff like that, and then oh well, yeah, there's been the traffic delay, so they're gonna be another hour, so let's continue to have another guest speaker. And
Are they like a deity? Like there's traffic from heaven or some
no,
shit?
no, that's what I'm
Like,
saying, a real person, like the
oh,
equivalent
it's a
of
real person.
like the
Okay.
equivalent of a
I
pope.
thought you were like, yeah, the Jesus is coming today, guys, but traffic is a little rough on I-95, so we're gonna have to wait a little a little bit.
No, 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 that's what I'm saying, it's like the equivalent of a pope or something. And then
Oh,
we all just kind of sat there and read stuff, listened to guest speakers chant it, and I was just like, it's fine, it's a good day. I got food. Is
this motherfucker.
interesting, and
I
it was in San Francisco, so I was like, I got to go to San Francisco. And we were promised that we were gonna go to the beach later, and we did. So I was like, fuck
okay,
yeah, I love
okay,
beaches.
that's a nice day.
See, yeah, so
Okay.
I have gotten myself involved in things, and I don't know, they were fine. It's whatever.
Brian's take. Colts are okay as long as you get good food and beaches. Actually, that's not your take. That's a good take. Join a cult.
it's like what it's like what Creed in The Office said. Cult
Mm,
followers have fun. Cult leaders
yeah.
make money. So what we need to
Yeah.
do now is start up our own cult so we can make money. Because we've had the fun already, or at least
Mm,
I did. But
yeah.
now we need the money.
So what is this cult gonna look like? Is my
A
question.
lot of crystals and orgies.
Okay. Orgies and crystals. Okay. Sounds good. Is are they both involved? Like,
Can
are
be.
we doing orgies while there's crystals around,
Sure. And
or what's
incense.
going on there?
All the
All
above.
right. Yeah. Well, you heard it here first, guys. What's the name of our cult? Is the other question. We need to have like a deity or something.
Everything downstairs.
Oh, I like it. I like it. Our deity is gonna be if y'all have seen the other episode, the weird animal we made, that's gonna be our deity. Actually, we already made so much. We spent so much work on that. Let's make that our deity. I like it. I think this is a great idea.
The
Um,
one that had a very specific poop spot.
yeah, that one.
I don't
Everybody
remember
respect the pooping.
I don't remember much else about it besides that it had a very specific poop spot.
I remember it was roughly crab shaped.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
all
yeah, yeah,
hail the
yeah.
crab who poops
So
at a specific spot.
beautiful. What were
uh,
we talking about?
I don't know. I think religion.
Oh, the oh
I
hellos.
guess I
Yeah.
can give my take on the Ohelos. Why I like the Ohelos so much, I think, is because they tie in religious like metaphor and stuff like that, which I'm aware and knowledgeable of because I grew up Christian my entire life. and they tie it with the like their personal experiences. Their my favorite album, and I think the biggest, most popular album they have is Dear Wormwood, and it's an album about abuse, trying to leave an abusive relationship, and so they tie in like the metaphors from Christianity and stuff into the process of leaving an abusive relationship, how you question yourself, how you're still infatuated with them at some point, and then eventually you kind of eventually like start to understand that this person, although not maybe not completely evil, is just really broken, and there's no way that you can be okay in this relationship. And so eventually you start to be like, okay, listen, you're not my friend. You're actually my enemy. You don't want to be, but you can't help it. And so eventually they leave. It's one of the best albums in my opinion of all time, and it's just so good. And of course, I there's the band itself supports a lot of causes that I support, which is great for coming from Christians, because if y'all have been outside recently, the Christian sort of movement is not known currently for being the best movement of some sort, especially American Christianity. And I do say American Christianity in the sense that there is an American Christianity. I this is I guess my take on religion, in particular Christianity, because that's what I was raised in. I'm still somewhat religious. I don't practice the very practice like I don't know, like the rituals of Christianity or anything like that. Usually don't go to church and stuff because my understanding of everything has changed. My understanding of Christianity, I grew up religious, obviously. I grew up in Christ of Nazareth Church. Shout out to my Nazis. My Nazis? Wait.
Who's in the cult now?
Shout out to the Nazis. We love
Oh
them.
God.
Oh my god. But this is we're gonna so shout out to people who grew up in the Christ of Nazareth church. We had to wear like white robes to our baptism and stuff like that. That's what we grew up in literally all my life. And then I came here to America, and of course, we got involved in what is the most popular brand of Christianity right now in America, which is the non-denominational mega churches, and that's where we've kind of been in for a long time. At least my family was in for a long time. It was really around college where I started like diverge from that a little bit and like have my own thoughts about what religion meant to me, specifically Christianity, what Christianity meant to me, what the word of Jesus meant to me, and stuff like that. And I ended up leaving the non-denominational thing. I should mention that I am an LGBT person, and as an LGBT person, I was also put it through a particular form of conversion therapy that's like very chill, so not super like camp in the middle of the woods, but rather more of like a personal family situation kind of thing where it's like almost like a life coaching with family members and stuff like that. And that kind of altered my way of looking at Christianity and just personally the way that I was affected by the treatments of the church I was a part of and stuff like that. In particular, the I know every queer person that grew up in the church remembers the reaction services to the week after, Sunday after the same sex marriage was legalized. So that was a whole shit show. I think most of all churches had like reaction preachings on that, most of them obviously negative. And so all of that kind of changed my perception. What I like to say is that I didn't reject the church rejected me. And so I had to figure out what is it that I want to keep from my like religious beliefs and what is it that I'm gonna just let go of, which I think is a process that I advocate for. If you're, I don't care what belief system you have. If you're Christian, Muslim, Jewish, Buddhist, whatever religion you are a part of, if you're not religious either, every one of us grew up under some form of belief system, either like instilled to us by our parents, or if we had like really progressive open-minded parents, maybe they let us kind of decide that for ourselves. But in that case, the area around us, the school we go to, and all of that affects the way we think. And when we're children, we just absorb that, right? We don't think twice about it. We're like, okay, like That's what we believe that because all my friends believe it or my parents believe it and stuff like that. What I advocate for is what I went through in college, which was deconstructing. And many people have like this weird conception about deconstructing. They're like, oh, deconstruction means you go from Christianity to atheism or Christianity to being an agnostic person. That's not what deconstructing is. Deconstructing is really the process of questioning your beliefs and seeing what you arrive in. What things you want to keep it, what things you want to keep, what things you don't want to keep. Um, you just vibing over there, aren't you?
Oh, sorry. See.
No, you're good.
I'm
Keep
thinking
vibing.
about things to add to that later, and the things that I'm adding makes me happy. So I'm kind of just over here.
um so yeah, it's the process of deconstruction changed my life. I ended up primarily like many people who deconstruct Christianity. Primarily it's so funny. um the many people who deconstruct Christianity, they end up keeping most of the time Jesus and that figure in particular because it's probably the most positive life force of the Bible. It's the entire reason we're Christians or whatever. A lot of the extra stuff, the like Old Testament, even some of the apostolic teachings and stuff, we just kind of we use that for context to contextualize Jesus, but we don't really give it as much weight as what Jesus quite literally preached. And so that's where we kind of go on from that. Whereas in the church, primarily the American Christian movement, the non denominational movement, the word non denominational is a trick. It's not really, doesn't really mean there's no denomination. In fact, financially speaking, most of these churches are tied together under huge political organizations. This is the church, the non denominational mega church in the United States is an industry. It's a huge, huge business industry. It makes millions of dollars. The Christian worship music industry also makes millions and millions of dollars. They're tied together, and they're also tied together to political organizations, the Faith and Freedom Movement, the Council for National Policy, the Heritage Foundation. They put in so much money and to kind of rile these churches together, and so things like the Faith and Freedom Conference, many of these congregations will participate, or the leadership of congregations will participate in these conferences. And this is where they kind of get their political opinions and they guide their masses to vote in particular directions. They guide their masses to believe in particular things. When you hear the word non denominational, it sounds like you're going to a really open minded church, but you need to keep into account that what you're going into is a very politically oriented environment, depending on the church that you're in, most of the time. You're going to listen to a pastor who has his own interpretations and beliefs of what the Bible is saying, and he's going to preach that to you. And you have to decide what it is that you like about that and what it is that you don't like, and then determine whether or not you want to be a member of the church. The problem that I have is that most of the time, not a lot of people are doing that. They're just the pastor says something, they automatically believe it because we what we know from all human history is that religion has always been a tool for community. And so if you start questioning what your pastor tells you, then you're starting to question your community, which is that's a hard thing to do that most people don't like to do. So I advocate for deconstruction, personal deconstruction, and just what you believe in and stuff. Try to determine that outside of what people are telling you all the time. That's my personal take. Because of that, I like the Oh Hellos because although they're not a like a Christian worship band, they do incorporate some of these Christian things that I know of, and they incorporate them in a way that's very spiritual and personal, and I just absolutely love that. But what did you want to ask something since you were dancing over there in the corner?
Okay, first of all, let me defend myself. I wasn't dancing because I don't give a fuck. I was still very actively listening.
I thought you were gonna stop there. I thought you were gonna say I wasn't dancing, and I'm like, okay, yeah, we can.
I'm a very fidgety person, and also just like what I wanted to connect to the point with, was something that I'm very passionate about. So I kind of just started brainstorming things, and it was making me happy. So I was just, anyway. Point is, I think for someone like me, anyway, as I say, I didn't grow up extremely religious. I didn't have that connection. So a lot of times, up until some age, I don't really remember. Religion is a very foreign thing to me. It's almost like a topping on a dish. It's just like I add it if I wanted to, but for the most part, the dish itself a lot of times is good enough. And what I mean by that is typical fat ass that I am. I'm gonna connect it to food. So to me, a lot of times I kind of view religion a lot like a cuisine. An example is like I say this simply based off of observations from the internet, which is obviously I know is like internet based information is very wrong, blah blah blah, all that stuff. But you'll see a lot of reels of people showing Italians American style pizza, deep dish, or pasta that they put, I don't know, stuff that you see at Olive Garden all the time. You see them take the Italians to those places and they get so extremely offended. To me, I kind of see that as the Italians have their own religion, which is how, the how they in their mind the pizza and the pasta is supposed to be. But depending on where you are, how you're raised, and what your local culture is, you take the goods of that quote unquote pizza and pasta, and then you incorporate your own ingredients that you yourself believe in and like into that dish. And kind of what I mean by that is just like one thing I was thinking about is using my own family as an example. As I say, my family is not super religious, and I have family members that are Christian, and I have majority of them are Taoism or whatever. But at the end of the day, none of them follows a strict rule on this is the 10 critical things or the tenets of this religion. We must follow it. It's kind of just like I like 1, 3, and 5, and then you like 2, 8, and 9 from that one. So we'll just take the bits and pieces that we like, and then we combine into something that we try to do on a daily basis as our lifestyle instead of I'm just gonna follow 1 to 10 at all times, always, because I am this category that I label myself as. And my point in saying all that is kind of what you were talking about, just like don't blindly follow. I think this kind of what you were going about is like a lot of people, their priest will say something and you just believe it. And to me, it's like there's nothing wrong with each individual religion. There's good stuff and bad stuff about every religion that you can see in the news and the books like Buddhism, Taoism, Christianity. There's all fucked up history in all of them. But does that mean every single one of them is bad and evil? No, not really. They have their goods and they also have their bads. There's nothing wrong with picking and choosing and sitting down, actually thinking through about some of the points. In the Bible, there is like, if you use a different type of stitch on a same piece of clothing or something, you're to be stoned to death. And it's just like, are we really actually gonna do that? Hopefully not. But also at the same time, there's stuff in the Bible that's just like, like be nice to your neighbor and love your neighbor, like we're all people and stuff like that. It's just like, is that a good thing? Yeah. But if I am a Christian, a devout Christian, does that mean I have to follow both? And it's like, no, I can do the love thy neighbor one, but I probably won't do the stoning my mother to death just because she used a different stitch type situation, if that makes sense. I know that's a really bad example, but it
No,
makes sense in my
but it
head.
makes sense. It makes sense. I remember just recently we went to a pride event here in town, and I'm an activist, so I was tasked particularly with keeping the counter protesters to the pride event out. And this is like a family friendly event, like it's not anything crazy and stuff like that. And so of course we get God hates gay people, like a group of people going into and like screaming with megaphones, and they have like pictures of like aborted fetuses and all these things, and there's like children walking around. So we're tasked with making sure that people are safe, making sure that they're not harassing people as much as possible, and we're just pretty much just standing in front of them, just blocking as much of what they're saying and viewing from the people as possible. I remember at some point I did talk to one of the guys, the only guy on that entire group who was seemingly pretty reasonable. I'd say pretty reasonable, not really, because again, all of this is extremely unreasonable. But he was at least the friendliest out of the group. I remember talking to him. He said something along the lines of he was talking about the story of Sodom and Gomorrah, and he was like, "Well, I'm a Christian, so I believe." And I'm like, "Cool. First of all, you're a Christian and you believe. Not everybody here is a Christian. Not everybody here believes in the same thing. And in this country, we have freedom of religion, which means that people can believe what they want, which means that you don't necessarily need to be out here protesting. And in fact, I would say that Jesus would probably want you out over there in the corner feeding homeless people rather than, because there's plenty of homeless people, especially that day as I drove around. I'm like, there's so many better things that you could be doing with your time that you're not doing. But sure, let me entertain what you're about to say." And so he was like, the story of Sodom and Gomorrah, like, you see how homosexuality is just so evil. Like, they were about to have sex with the angels. Just to fill you in, because I'm not sure if you know, and any audience member that doesn't know about the story of Sodom and Gomorrah. First of all, Sodom and Gomorrah, this story is famously used against LGBT people. Like, that is like has a huge historical precedent. It's where the term sodomy comes from, which is where the legal term for the illegalization of homosexuality was even in. Like, you talk about the sodomy laws. Those were laws against homosexuality that eventually got repealed in this nation, but are still very common in some areas of the world, even including, up to execution for as a punishment. He was talking about Sodom and Gomorrah and that city, and how essentially the story goes that Lot, one of the people who was of God at that moment, so he has ties to God and he has a relationship with God. He lives in Sodom, which is apparently this extremely sinful city. And so God is about to strike down the city and he's about to destroy the city in order to check pretty much if there's anybody remaining good in the city. He sends a group of angels, what we believe to be angels is just a group of people, to see if some anybody would house them and like give them food and like give them shelter. And Lot does, right? And as Lot kind of opens his home to them and gives them food and entertains them as guests, there's a crowd forming outside of his town, outside of his home, and it's a crowd of people who are wanting to have sex with the the visitors to the town. And that it's implied that it's a male crowd primarily that want to have sex with them. And so it's assumed, weirdly, that this is homosexuality, that this is why God hated that city. And so he's telling me this, and he's like, Sodom and Gomorrah, if you're Christian, you must know that Sodom and Gomorrah was destroyed because of homosexuality. What do you have to say about that? And I'm like, I think the city of Sodom was destroyed because those people wanted to gang rape the the visitors. I don't know about you. I don't think that's the same thing as two people loving each other. I don't know if you look around this park, very family friendly park, and see anybody trying to gang rape somebody. That's just not something that's happening right now. I remember his face. His face just stopped. And he was like, huh. And I'm like, right. Question. Question what you're told, regardless. Because now it just took me literally a single sentence. And you just realize that maybe what I've been told isn't as simple as that. And by the way, I go further. I say, it doesn't make sense for God to have destroyed a whole city and killed a bunch of people. But that's my own personal take. But for his sake of argument, that's all I had to do. And he just stopped in his tracks. That's one of the reasons why you do want to deconstruct, is because you want to think about these things rationally. And thinking about these things rationally doesn't necessarily mean you're going to stop believing in your religion or be outcasted from your community. It just means that you now have a better understanding, especially when it comes to things like hate, racism, all of these different, political kind of things that get brought up with religion. The other, this conversation happened immediately after. We were in this group of people. We were trying to stop, their hatred from going out and like spreading in that event. And I remember being super nice to everybody there. I was blocking them. I was making sure that their voices weren't heard, but I wasn't being aggressive. I was like, look, I'm just doing my job. And I remember turning around to what looked like two teenage girls. And I remember like visually they were striking when it came to their dresses. Their dresses were beautiful, like the dresses they were wearing. So I remember going up to them and being like, "Hey, regardless of what's happening here, I just want you to know that y'all's outfits are fantastic." And I have never seen such a look of hate and disgust in someone's face. It's just saying that, and the face that I got back from them is just the most hateful. And it struck me because I'm like, I'm speaking to teenagers. Like, they've been taught this their entire lives. I just told them something nice, and they have that their beliefs are so skewed from childhood that they are like, they can't view me as anything but just a disgusting person. And so I just being visually impacted by that and being like, that's the moment I solidified in my brain. I'm not only someone who deconstructed, I'm someone who advocates for deconstruction. I talk about it with my friends. I talk about it with my family members. I talked about it with people who are religious. And I'm like, question, question, question what you've been told. Because if you're part of the church, anytime, anytime in history, if you're a part of the church, you're part of a political movement. This is not new. This has been going on for centuries. You know that you literally just spoke about this, Brian, and it's not just limited to Christianity. It's all religions can be intertwined with politics and power and all these different things. And it's like you have to carefully make sure that you're rationally thinking about your religious beliefs, because trust, people in power will use your religious beliefs and language to get you to follow with whatever they're doing. So it's, be really careful with when it comes to religion, when it comes to that. And that's I think that's my advocacy, is like just that pretty much. Are you, do you have like a sip of water in your mouth? Is that what's
No,
going on?
no,
It
I
looked
was
like you're about to spit.
I was just sitting here like you're talking some important shit over there, and I'm over here thinking about, see, it's the same thing as people that like pineapple on pizza, and then people that hate pineapple on pizza.
Are you hungry by
Those
any
two
chance?
people, those people, like, they will go at each other's throat for whether pineapple should be on pizza. But the thing is, like, at the end of the day, you like pineapple on pizza? Have pineapple on pizza. At the end of the day, you don't like pineapple on pizza? Don't have pineapple on pizza. I'm not shoving pineapple down your throat, nor am I taking it away from you. It's still
I think you're
your.
hungry.
I,
I
I think I'm onto something there. Is what I
No,
think.
you're onto something. You're
Hmm.
onto something. We'll give you that. We'll give you that.
No,
But
but
yeah, do you,
I feel
what do
like
you think?
going back a little bit. It's also hard because not everything is so simple. Because like what you were talking about, like the two girls thing. When you first said that, there's so many things that immediately pop in my head. It's just like, yeah, it could just be that because you are of associating yourself to a specific group, so they're like, fuck you. Or it could
Yeah.
just be the fact that you are a male. Females have, you know, not the easiest life when it comes to male gaze and all that stuff. So it could also be that. It could be that they are just teenagers, and teenagers just kind of sometimes just have resting bitch faces.
Yeah. I will say when it comes to this, it was very particular because first of all, they're part of a LGBT hate group, and they're carrying around signs of like God hates gay people and all these things. You could see that their face were pretty neutral the entire time, but when I spoke to them, it's a very visible hatred and disgust that like came upon their face. So like their face changed for sure, and I again, they were already talking about the fact that everybody in that entire thing was going to hell, and not only that, but that the country as a whole, or you know, the world as a whole is declining because of the people in this group. So I think when it comes to, I think you're right 100%. I think one example that I have is like, I remember seeing from a TikTok creator who was black. She went to Puerto Rico and visited El Moro, which is one of our fortresses and stuff. She was talking about her experience and she was like, I don't know, the people here just look at me really weird. Some people in the comments just took it upon themselves to kind of explain a little bit, and they were like, there's plenty of black people in Puerto Rico. Puerto Ricans are come in all colors, all sizes, and stuff like that. It is not impossible, but it's probably uncommon. Probably be more rare that anybody who is Puerto Rican looked at you and was like, "Oh, like we've never seen that before." Puerto Ricans are a mix of African, Spanish, and Taino heritage, like Native American heritage. And most of our culture comes from Africa. There's a lot of Afro Latinos within the Puerto Rican community. Not that these people do not experience racism, because they absolutely do. But the comment section were like, it is way more likely that they were looking at you weirdly because you're a tourist. Puerto Ricans, especially due to what's going on in Puerto Rico right now, are not super friendly towards tourists, or are more distrustful of tourists at the moment. So they're hearing you talking English, they're hearing you, walking around and like maybe doing something that's not typical and stuff like that. And so they're probably just like, But again, you never know. You're not there, so it could 100% be that. But it's way more likely that it was just that. So you're onto something. I think that's 100% true. In this particular case, though, it's very clear that they were like very hateful towards LGBT people. It's common because I've experienced it myself in my own personal life. It's very common for Christians to hold some version of hatred towards LGBT people. Most of them would not call it hatred. Most of them would call them a peaceful or loving disagreement. But the views they hold is are views that are inherently harmful to a whole host of people, and they not only hold these views, but they advocate politically for these views, and it ends up causing actual real harm to people. So it's not like, I remember talking to my friend in college and him being like, why do you care if there's like a whole group of people that don't like this particular group of people? And I'm like, I care because Christians are a majority population in the United States, and LGBT people are a minority population in the United States, and the majority has significant political power over the minority, and so therefore the minority's lives are heavily affected by what the majority thinks, does, and acts. So I was like, that's just putting it out there. It's not a personal care for me. I'm like, I've accepted myself. I don't care anymore. But it's more of a political, larger scale concern for the entire LGBT community rather than my own personal, effect, I guess.
Yeah, and I think like compared to you, I mean compared to a lot of people, I am very religiously and politically not involved. I
Yeah.
just, as I said in one of the episodes, I just don't care. First of all,
Yeah.
secondly, it makes me depressed, and I already have depression. I don't need more. The thing that constantly boggles my mind the most is just where is all this hatred coming from and why? And it's just like, if your whole life, every single Asian you met, they just beat you up every time, then it will make sense that you're gonna probably not like Asians very much. But the thing is, like, that's not the case here, though. It's just this guy likes that other guy. Okay, it's not like I'm gonna go and fuck them. I'm here, they're there. I can kind of understand if you're like, oh, it's just it grosses me out when when you see them just kissing and holding hands. I'm like, okay, fair. For me too, just even just public display of affection, PDA is doesn't matter, it's guy guy, girl girl. Just even if it's just a normal, quote unquote, normal male female couple, I'm like, ah, you girls get a room.
Yeah.
So I can kind of see
Get
that. You know
out of
what?
here.
Sure, fine, whatever.
Ew, love.
You see PDA of same sex, and that's disgusting. Sure, whatever. Okay, fine. But beyond that, why are you putting so much effort into hating a specific something that just genuinely doesn't bother you in any way? And it's like, oh, like they're gonna ruin our kids and our next generation, whatever. And it's just like, well, will they though? If they are gonna have such a strong influence, then can't you just teach or raise your kids just how you want to.
Right.
And
Which doesn't, in this particular case, will not have any effect, but you can try.
it's just
you
like
know,
if I don't want my kid to see LGBT stuff, then I will just not let my kids see LGBT stuff. I don't see the point in putting in all the effort in. It genuinely doesn't make sense to me. To me, it's just so much effort. You're just so angry all the time over something that literally doesn't affect you. I have nothing against LGBT, and I mean, like, Edsel, you're one of my best friends, and you're LGBT.
yeah.
Even if I'm like, okay, from today on, I don't want LGBT stuff in my life. My life is still honestly going to be about the same as it is now. Nothing's going to really change because it's not like when I talk to you, we talk about our dicks touching or something. No, we talk about regular.
We do actually talk about that very often, guys.
Well,
Sorry, just putting
yeah,
it
that's
out
a
there.
bad example.
But we're gonna say we don't.
Yeah,
That's okay.
for the sake of this argument, I'm going to say
Yes.
we don't talk about that kind of stuff. Now, I know these are all not super great examples, but my point stands. Just I just don't understand why people are so angry. Even if I want the next generation to be better, in my opinion, I'm not gonna go around angrily disagreeing. I would much rather put in the effort to just try to coach or teach the next generation what I think is good in a, you know, happy manner.
I think your point is fair. Is I think, correct me if I'm wrong, but it seems like your point is, if you don't like LGBT stuff, why even go through the effort of doing anti-LGBT stuff, politically advocating against it? Like, just live your life, not seeing anything, turn off whatever you don't like, and then just literally, why put on through that much effort?
Yeah, because like we all know in this society, there's no such thing as bad publicity. When you go to a anti-LGBT movement, you're gonna have a counter movement, the LGBT people. But if you genuinely hate them so much and no one shows up, no one comes around to pay them any attention, they're not gonna form a group either. They're just gonna do their own stuff. That sounds a lot more, I don't know, easy and comfortable in my opinion, than everybody hating on each other and then just getting so angry all the time. Or you can just not involve yourself in things.
I think, and I'm gonna keep it brief because I think we're almost done here, but I think the answer, unfortunately, is very political, because if we use black people as an example, the entire reason there's racism against black people in particular, especially here in the United States and in places like Europe, is because Africa was colonized. Why was Africa colonized? Because there were particular markets that needed Africa to be colonized, right? So we look at the spice trade, we look at the slave trade in particular. That one's a big one here in the United States. And what comes down to it is money. It's profitable to spew racism, because spewing racism meant that you were able to keep the status quo, which back then was slavery. You were able to keep your profits. You're able to keep your power in particular, and that's what we see all the time. So like, when the Catholic Church was beginning to lose a lot of power, they used several tactics that came about. So you would see them demonizing women in particular. The witch trials started happening. That's not necessarily only the Catholic Church. That's just the church in general. When the church started losing power, they started to demonize certain people, groups of people, to try to keep more and better control over their population. Because when you're afraid of something, a whole group of people, then you're more likely to maintain yourself within a close knit community of like minded people, which is what the church wanted politically. And we know that the church has always been about money, since the beginning. And it's not, I'm not saying that religion is just money. Clearly, for so many people, religion is about personal movement, a community, spirituality, and a relationship with God. I'm saying what it was as a movement, what it was as an organization, what it was as a political structure, was almost always about money. It's almost always gone down to that as you go down through history. And so for our folks including you, Brian, who don't particularly entertain yourself with politics. Unfortunately, the answer is very political. It's not to say that racism in any way, shape, or form isn't somewhat a little bit, the tiniest bit natural. Studies have shown that it's not very natural. But when you look at studies of very young children who are playing together, they don't show racist attitudes if they're very young. They instinctively share between each other no matter what color there are. That usually comes from the teaching or social conditioning aspect, and the social conditioning aspect comes from the political social atmosphere of the time. What typically political figures and power structures will do is they'll take this little tiny thing that we have, which is our very natural distrust of difference, right? We don't like difference, it makes us uncomfortable, and our anxiety towards difference, and they just exploit it and like expand it as much as possible until they get a fully formed political, social opinion of an entire group of people. That's not new. That's been around for forever. And LGBT people haven't always been the target. There are plenty of empires, entire empires, that existed being completely friendly towards LGBT people. We saw the Greeks, although I will say modern LGBT people are different from what was happening back then, but like we saw that back then it was a lot more normalized and accepted and totally normal. And in fact, it wasn't LGBT behavior, or I say LGBT behavior, but like gay homosexual behavior was not limited to LGBT people. That straight people were doing it all the time as well. That's just how the times political situation was. And so yes, unfortunately the answer is very political, but needless to say, the how we solve that is by questioning. How we solve that is by taking your social conditioning, how you were raised, and questioning, is this good? Is this good for others? Is this good for myself? What do I keep and what do I kind of throw away? I advocate that everybody does it at least once. And if you have LGBT people in your life, or black people in your life, or any other minority group, you especially, I would say, you probably have a responsibility to do so. So that's my personal opinion, and that's what I would say. What is your outtake with all of this? What would you say is like the thing that has stuck with you the most about you know religion, as a non-religious person, objectively, because you're more objective and on the outside? What has like struck to you about religion that is just the weirdest, funniest weird thing that you've seen?
I think like there is nothing wrong with having a label, but at the same time, there's nothing saying you have to abide by every single thing that label stands for if you want to label yourself the same thing. See, one of the best pizzas that I've tried is
We go back to
tikka masala pizza.
Uh,
And again,
dude, you gotta eat. You
if
gotta
you
eat.
if you asked if you like asked, I don't know, some very gung ho Italian guy, they
Mhm.
will probably say that's blasphemous. But
Yeah.
man, that tikka masala pizza was really good.
Uh,
So they took the best of a pizza and then they added some of the best from India to it, and that shit was delicious.
and I'm gonna say your metaphor has a point, because when you look up at biology and shit, race is very random. Like it's literally skin color. It's just the weirdest. We could have just as easily chosen any other trait, just like curly haired people. Curly haired people are inferior and we must enslave them. Like
Fuck you, Edsel.
it's just yeah. I know for a fact that clip. I'm just gonna clip that portion and just post it on our TikTok. Curly hair people are inferior and must be enslaved.
God.
But it's silly. It when you think about it, it's genuinely, when you think about it, but don't think about it too much. It's genuinely kind of funny how we just chose the most random shit and we were like, well, yeah, we'll run with it. Anyways, yeah, those people are suck. It's like what? So It's just strange. And when it comes to LGBT people, I think the problem that a lot of people don't make the connection between like racism and like homophobia and stuff like that is because with homophobia and homosexuality in particular, it's a mental trait, and you can't see it like race. So people will be like, "Oh, I'm not racist because like you can't control your skin color, and you know you shouldn't be treated negatively just because you have another skin color." But they don't understand how being LGBT is a physical trait. It's just physical in here. It's not physical out here. And am I? You seem confused. Did I lose you?
No, you didn't lose me. It was just interesting, in my opinion, an interesting comparison is all.
Yeah, but no, it's very scientifically based. LGBT people, in particular, is a trait that is It's a mental trait.
I understand exactly what you're saying. It's just when you said that, my immediate thought is just like, well, I know some people that I can look at that I'm just like, you're definitely gay.
You're like, I know some people. The guy is sitting across from me. Yeah, so it's a mental trait, and it's just a silly mental trait that we chose, and we have chosen sillier ones. Once we oppressed left-handed people, that was like a huge thing back in the day. Be like, fuck them left-handed people.
Either way, we're getting close to our end time. I think everyone probably got our take home message is spicy peanut butter pizza is not good. But
And enslave curly-haired people.
tikka
Well,
masala pizza, really good. You guys, anyone that is able to find that, should definitely give it a shot, man. It really is
this
fucking
bitch needs
delicious.
to eat.
That's the end of our message. Etzel's got some inspirational, very deep shit, and I'm over here talking about food. So
And I just told everybody to enslave curly haired people. So if you want to call that inspirational, go for it. But yeah, I think that's all we have for this episode. Like, subscribe, comment, let us know what you think.
and let us know if you like
Anything else?
deeper shit like this, or you would
If you
rather
want more lighter
you
shit.
would rather us just talk about nonsense, which is fine either
Yeah.
way. We can. We just want to. We just talk, man. We just want to talk.
We just yapping.
Yeah.
We just yapping.
Alrighty. Well, thank you guys, and we'll see you guys next week. All right.
Peace,
Ciao.
deuces, adios.